Hello and welcome to the last episode of Who's Who at EMU. I'm your host Shannon Smith, and today we have an exciting show, from the craziest story from our nation and overseas to an exciting movie fight. All that's here today, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Who's Who. Everyone, with me today is Sarah Potoracki. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Well, you know, Shannon, finally excited to be something other than an expert.
Well, we're glad to have you. It's no new news that Fidel Castro passed away 2 weeks ago on November 25th. Unsurprisingly, the nation is once again divided. On one side, you have people who hail Castro as a hero of the people. He rebelled successfully against what many nations see as a tyrannical U.S. government. He provided support and inspiration to many African rebellions, and throughout all of that, he was able to provide the things his people needed. He did a lot to help the oppressed, and it's no surprise that people liked him. He was the Luke Skywalker of Cuba. But maybe there's a little Darth Vader in there too. Of course, you have Americans who are angry that he beat the system, but there are also valid reasons why he wasn't liked. In the eyes of many of his people, he was a dictator. He oppressed them to the point that they didn't feel comfortable sharing any differing political views. He also sent tens of thousands of his people to their deaths while they were aiding the African rebel. Many Cuban Americans especially celebrate his death because of the hardships he put their families through that caused them to come to America. He allowed many criminals to find asylum in his country, refusing to send them back to America where they would face trial, which actually falls on both sides of the debate. Regardless of whether you liked him or not, he was a human, and we should respect death.
In North Dakota, protesters have been extremely jubilant because Sunday they received the best news that they've heard in a while. After months of protesting, being sprayed by water hoses, and harassed through abysmal methods, protesters were given an early Christmas present after the federal government announced that they would not be granting the easement necessary for the Dakota Access Pipeline to continue construction through the Sioux Reservation and sacred ground. Cheers and celebration erupted throughout the protesters' camp, and they had great reason to celebrate. This was a substantial victory. However, certain members asked the protesters to remain cautious and don't stop protesting because of this win. Myles Allard, a member of the Standing Rock Sioux, encourages his people and those who stand with them to stand up and not leave until this is over. This victory is not the end of the ordeal, mainly because in about a month, Donald Trump will be the new president of the United States, and as Myles Allard puts it, we don't know what Trump is going to do. This is already apparent as many Republican representatives in North Dakota have voiced their disapproval. Representative Kevin Cramer even calling the protesters criminals. Things may go south, but we can't help but feel a little optimistic. This is probably the best thing to come out of 2016, and we can only hope that the government continues to support the Sioux and their cause.
Remember back in April of 2014 when the residents of Flint, Michigan were told that their water was contaminated with lead? Well, unfortunately, the water crisis is still going on. 6 government workers were recently convicted for the seemingly disregard towards human life. Even after the court case ended in July of this past year, residents in Flint still do not have clean water. How is this possible? It's been over 2 years and nothing's been done. Well, Congress clearly doesn't care because they haven't provided any federal aid to solve the problems of the city. Residents of Flint are asking Congress to allot them with the aid they need before Congress adjourns in mid-December. If you're too outspoken, though, you might want to be careful because it could lead to your job being at risk or even losing your job. Lee Ann Walters, one of the first and loudest voices of the Flint residents, has found that her outspoken stance on the situation has resulted in a hostile work environment for her husband. Dennis Walters, who is a Navy vet and currently working at a naval station in Norfolk, filed a complaint claiming mistreatment. He was reported that his co-workers harassed him because of his wife's involvement, at one point stating that her job as a military wife is not to be a crusader. Dennis was then demoted and removed from all leadership, and he and his family fear that they may face termination. What is up with this country and water?
I don't know. It's almost like we care more about a profit than we do about people's well-being.
Well, good thing we have a businessman as the future head of the state. He certainly wouldn't bring that corporate mentality to the White House.
In Chattanooga, Tennessee, an elementary school bus driver is being charged with multiple charges of vehicular homicide. The incident for which he's on trial happened 2 weeks ago. The driver, Jonathan Walker, was driving recklessly and had taken a different route than the one he was scheduled for. He crashed into a tree and split the bus in half. 6 children were killed and many others were hospitalized. Walker had received complaints from parents before, who said their children had told them that Walker drove too fast and oftentimes slammed on the brakes to make the children fall or hit their heads. Walker also was known for disobeying his bus route, oftentimes changing where he would drop the children off and what route he would take. Walker had his first day in court November 29th, but his preliminary hearing has been delayed for later this month. He is being charged with 5 counts of vehicular homicide, reckless endangerment, and reckless driving. Police are seeking more charges, including a 6th count of vehicular homicide. I have a question. Why are buses so unsafe?
You know, that's a good point. The bus company of which Walter was an employee of has come forward with a plan to make their buses safer. They plan on enacting a better complaint system and plan on installing smart cameras on the buses. There is one thing that's missing from this plan: seat belts. How have we allowed metal containers with children to be operated without having the basic automobile safety device? Hashtag buses need seat belts 2016.
Federal prosecutors are moving forward with the case against Dylan Roof, the white supremacist who shot 9 black church members in South Carolina back in June 2015. Roof has made the decision to represent himself against advisement from his former lawyer and even the judge himself. It appears that Roof is regretting this decision after having to speak for himself in court after Judge Richard Gergel said that Roof could no longer have his lawyer speak for him. Roof is being charged with acts of hate crime, obstruction of religion, and firearm use that resulted in death, and prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. The jury process began last week, and Roof was allowed to participate in the selection process, although it doesn't really look like he has any real voice, seeing as the judge has allowed people to become possible jurors against Roof's request.
On a lighter note, go Eagles! We're going to the Bahamas. Not us, but the football team. After 29 years, Eastern football has finally been invited back to a bowl game. You're probably asking yourself, why did it take so long? Well, the answer is simple. We've won more games this year than the last 3 years combined. Think of it this way. The last time Eastern had this good of a season, Walk Like an Egyptian was #1 on the Billboard Top 100. That was #1 over Somebody Wanna Dance? Okay, whatever. 80s were messed up anyway. Well, here's a stat you'll love. According to collegesimply.com, in 1987, the cost to go to EMU was $1,561. Yeah, those are real numbers, but back to EMU football. This is a big opportunity for them to represent our school. Be sure to tune in December 23rd. Who knows, the next time we'll go bowling. That was a lot, but we got through it. When we come back, we're going to have our first ever movie fight. It's sure going to be a wild time, so tune in.
My mom's birthday was coming up fast, so I needed to go out shopping for something quick. I needed to move money from my savings to my checking account so I could use my debit card at the mall. I cracked open my laptop, hit the bookmark from my bank, and entered in my username and password. What the heck? I got sent back to the home page. So I entered in my username and password again, made the transfer, and went to the mall where I found this cool little necklace for my mom. That's good news, right? The bad news is, the next week I went to make a purchase and they told me that I had insufficient funds to cover that purchase. Long story short, when I had logged into my bank the first time, I got redirected to a fake site that stole my username and password. I guess I got a virus that redirected my bookmark. The thieves had a field day with my account. I wish I had known then what I know now. You have to check and make sure you're really on your bank's website. This could be done by either recognizing an image you've selected or clicking a lock or VeriSafe icon and comparing the bank's web address to a web address you've got on our certificate. My name is Luke, and I'm trying to be e-safe.
Welcome back. Now it's time for a brand new segment where we bring in fighters to debate the best and worst of pop culture. This is Anarchy. Today is our Disney movie battle. We have 8 participants with us ready to battle out what they believe to be the best Disney movie is. Starting with Matt. Matt, what movie are you representing?
Well, I'm Matt, and I am representing Zootopia.
I'm Brandon, and I'm defending The Lion King.
I'm Ashley, and I'm representing Tangled.
I'm Alex, and I'm representing Mulan.
This half?
Hi, I'm representing Lilo and Stitch.
And he's Tyler. I'm Julia. I'm representing Moana.
I'm Trudy, and I'm representing Pocahontas.
I'm Daniel, and I am representing the greatest film in the world, Aladdin.
All right, let's get right into it. Lion King versus Zootopia. First question, and only question for this round. Why is your movie the best and theirs the worst?
Want to go first?
Now, I don't think Zootopia is the worst movie, but I also don't think it's the best. The Lion King has to be the best movie. It's the best that Disney has to offer in terms of story, music, animation, and it's just iconic compared to Zootopia.
Well, that's a pretty weak argument. I mean, let's look at the plot of The Lion King. It's basically a retelling of Hamilton. Oh, kid runs away, sees the ghost of his father, and then he kills his
Hamilton
uncle.
or Hamlet?
Yes, both. Because it's just a boring retelling. You take a look at Zootopia, it's a very interesting crime film.
It's
And
a crime film.
yeah, have you ever seen it?
Have I seen The Lion King? Yes, absolutely.
I'm talking about Zootopia now, because my film is a crime film.
Okay.
Get me? Can you handle this? Is
Yes.
this too much
No,
pressure
I
for
got
you?
it, but that doesn't make it the best.
Any lasting thoughts? Because right now I'm even torn. I don't know who to pick. Neither had a strong argument.
Hey, I
One
would
final
pick
thought.
Zootopia because it addresses so many social issues, and after the film, leaves you wondering.
The Lion King, gives great representations of what it takes to be responsible as a human being.
Kill your
And to-
uncle.
I'm going to go with The Lion King on this one.
What? This
Sorry,
is
Zootopia.
bias.
All right, moving on to the back. Who do we have battling here again?
I've got Tangled.
Mulan.
All right. Why is your movie, whoever starts, better, and why is the other one worse?
No,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Mulan.
Go ahead.
It's all you.
Well,
Someone
Mulan,
start.
very simply, is the greatest depiction of a female empowering herself in the face of overwhelming patriarchy. If that's not argument enough, then it's got some of the best music ever.
You realize that in Mulan, though, they didn't listen to the female, through the entire film.
And she had to fight through it. That's like the real world. They don't listen to women. It's messed up, and you gotta fight through it.
How does it
That's
make
what
it
we're
the
talking.
best film? That doesn't make anything the best film.
Well, what's so good about yours?
My film?
Yeah,
What's
your
not
film.
great about
What
my
even
film?
is your film?
One, it's freaking Rapunzel for starters.
Ooh.
All right, she's got
Magic
magical
hair.
hair,
Magic hair.
which is awesome, by the way. She
Wrong.
heals. Two, she's got the little chameleon guy who's like her invisible sidekick.
Wrong.
That's nothing but like her inner voice. Three, it's Mandy
Wrong.
Moore, so you have great music. And four, they use saucepans instead of guns, so they took out all of the gunpowder.
Is your film as swift as a coursing river?
No, it's not.
Is it as mysterious as the dark side of the moon?
It doesn't need to be.
Such a nasty woman.
I'm going to have to go with Mulan on this one. All right. On to the other half.
Yeah, I'm gonna win. It's Lilo and Stitch. How could it be any better? It's the classic rendition of a broken family struggling to find happiness. And then here comes Stitch, an alien of all people. It's great. And
Have you seen E.T.? Same movie.
No, it's not. How is E.T. like this?
I'm just saying it's the same movie.
It's
Continue
not.
your argument.
It's not. Why is your movie so great?
My movie is great because this girl grows up with her family and they're like, hey, you gotta do this, you gotta be this way. And she knows that that's not right. So she goes out by herself, goes on this amazing journey to save her family because she wants to and not because someone told her to. And then on the way, she meets the man voiced by The Rock. So, I mean, that's argument enough. Everyone in this
You
movie,
just
by
like
the
The
way,
Rock.
is voiced by actual Polynesian people, whereas Lilo and Stitch, voiced by white people. They live in, like, Hawaii. Why are they all white?
She's got a good point.
Moana having
She-
a
she's got-
culture.
she's got a good
Moana one. Back row.
I'm Aladdin, of course. Go ahead, Pocahontas. Do your
You know
thing.
what? Because your movie came out first, I'm gonna let you go first and defend yourself.
Well, that's all. That's good. If you're not first, you're last. So, listen. Here's the
Ricky
thing.
Bobby.
Aladdin is the greatest film in the world. It talks about you being humble and not lying to yourself. As long as you're yourself, you don't have to lie about who you are. Okay? That's all there is. And let's not mention Genie. And come on, some of the greatest songs in history. Everybody still remembers them, and everybody still sings them. Aladdin is the greatest.
Okay, first of all, he lied about himself the whole movie up until
Didn't I just say
until
that?
she caught him.
Didn't I
So
just
I mean
say
that's fine. It's based on my lies. The theory
Oh.
of my movie actually came from a truthful thing about Native Americans, about
Well, she wasn't
white
27, she was
supremacy
12.
taking over our land.
Wrong.
It's actually quite true, and you see this character build and strength in herself.
She was talking to a tree.
Her grandmother,
And the
by the
wind.
way,
How the hell did her grandmother just become
well,
a tree?
if you actually understand Native Americans, if you guys, would understand that,
Yeah,
you can actually
uh-huh.
see the truth.
The
that
truth
she went
behind
through.
her being a 12-year-old, going for
She's
an
actually
older
14,
man.
but that's fine.
Final
so
thoughts.
she basically
What is
a
the
dog.
final? What's gonna sway
Oh.
me?
Around this time, girls didn't have female empowerment, and she did that for young women. Unless you guys subjectify women as Princess Jasmine did with her
Jasmine was
belly cut
humble
open,
and knew what
because
she
that was
wanted
the
to
norm
do.
for people.
Jasmine
But
was
she
humble.
actually took a stand for herself against, killing someone that was wrong.
Wrong.
So that's fine.
Jasmine was humbled about herself. She knew who she was. She was her own
She
woman.
escaped her prison because she got bored.
She escapes her prison because she wanted to
I'm
find
gonna have to go
love.
Pocahontas on this one. I'm gonna have
Pocahontas.
to go Pocahontas on this one.
Yeah, go for everything that wasn't real.
I'm gonna go for
It's
Pocahontas.
actually-
Round 2. What is the saddest part of your movie, and why is it sadder than your opponent's?
Okay, well, the saddest part of The Lion King, by far, is when Mufasa dies. And it's not just how it's not just that the fact that he dies, but it's how he dies, by the hand of his brother. And then his son thinks that he did it. He was tricked into thinking that he killed his own father. That was by far the saddest part of the movie. And yours?
Well, the saddest part of your movie, first of all, I'll let you know, was having to sit through it. Now, the saddest part of Mulan is without a doubt that there's not more Eddie Murphy in it. Like, as much as there is, just the more the merrier. And I think the real tragedy here is that he was overlooked. And I don't want to say that it's because
Overlooked
he...
or overrated?
Well, I don't want to say that it's because he's a black actor in white Hollywood, but, the white voice actor's got a lot more screen time. And do you think he's an overrated black actor?
Mulan won this one. All right, moving on to this side. Again, same question. What's the saddest part of your movie, and why is it sadder than your opponent's?
I believe the saddest part of my movie was actually when a character was shot, and it kind of instilled the realization to Pocahontas how serious the situation is, and it actually made her grow even harder to say,
Who was
this
shot?
is wrong and this is right. I'm not going to say that. Did you see the movie? If you did not,
It's
that's
a
fine.
Disney classic. I think everyone has seen these movies. Who was shot?
So why were you going to
I
ask
think
who
you
was
don't
being
know.
shot?
I think you don't know.
Okay. His name is Coco. He was shot, actually. But that's fine. Did you get what you wanted to get?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
fine. You can go. What's the saddest part? Because what
Alright.
was it?
Stop.
I'm
Okay.
just wondering.
Saddest part of my movie
Uh-huh.
is when Moana's grandmother dies. This is someone dies in every Disney movie. And in Moana, her grandmother dies, and her grandmother
But she
was
actually lives on as, like, what, a manatee or something like that?
a
right?
manatee.
Or whatever, the little stingray.
You know
right?
what, you're Pocahontas
Because
is
he
singing to the
didn't-
wind and painting colors and shit, and none of that's real. Her grandmother is a tree.
Yes.
My grandmother's
actually
like a
speaks to her.
stingray.
That's in the water. Where mine is actually a living thing, and that's actually history with Native Americans.
Your movie's racist.
Your room is, you know.
I'm about to go with Moana on this one.
Because she said racist?
going-
That's so wrong.
I'm about to go with Moana on this
That's
one.
fine.
All right, now we are down to our last two fighters. Who will emerge victorious? Stay tuned to find out after these messages.
We are True EMU! Let me show you love. Love is what I know. Join me in this life, you're beautiful soul. Everything you need, everything you want, you have it right here, my beautiful soul. We are True EMU!
I am True EMU.
We are True EMU!
My mom's birthday was coming up fast, so I needed to go out shopping for something quick. I needed to move money from my savings to my checking account so I could use my debit card at the mall. I cracked open my laptop, hit the bookmark from my bank, and entered in my username and password. What the heck? I got sent back to the home page. So I entered in my username and password again, made the transfer, and went to the mall where I found this cool little necklace for my mom. That's good news, right? The bad news is, the next week I went to make a purchase and they told me that I had insufficient funds to cover that purchase. Long story short, when I had logged into my bank the first time, I got redirected to a fake site that stole my username and password. I guess I got a virus that redirected my bookmark. The thieves had a field day with my account. I wish I had known then what I know now. You have to check and make sure you're really on your bank's website. This could be done by either recognizing an image you've selected or clicking a lock or VeriSafe icon and comparing the bank's web address to a web address you've got on our certificate. My name is Luke, and I'm trying to be e-safe.
Anarchy Disney Edition. Let's get right back into it. Before we left, Moana and Mulan made it into the finals. Now we're ready to find out who's the first ever winner of Anarchy Movie Bash Attack. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Alrighty, so we have a series of 4 questions. You got like 15 seconds to answer, so it's quick answers.
Alright.
Question number 1. What specific quality makes your movie better? Start with Moana.
Okay. My movie is the best because it has a very diverse. Showcases diversity by having all Polynesian voice actors, and it empowers women.
Very good.
I think the best quality of my movie is the way it portrays empowerment and how it's not just in gender, just overall, overcoming the adversity that faces you and doing what you want to do and what you need to do.
Very good. Question 2. Why is your movie more watchable?
My movie is more watchable because it's beautiful and the ocean is cool and the songs are written by that guy who did the Hamilton songs. I don't know, everyone likes Hamilton. He wrote all the songs for that, so that's enough right there.
All right, well, my movie is definitely more watchable due to, 1, Eddie Murphy. I can't say enough about how much I love Eddie Murphy. He's great. 2nd, the music is way better in my opinion. The music is really good.
It's really good.
3rd question. How does your movie incorporate its songs, and does it work, as we just talked about music?
Oh, yes, it incorporates the songs very well. I already talked about this. Guy that wrote Hamilton actually wrote the music for this movie, and it's really good.
I'm going to go back to the classic, but when you incorporate the main song, I'll Make a Man Out of You, into the training session in which he's trying to train an army to fight the attacking
But why
Huns.
does the woman have to be made into a man? She's a
That
woman.
is my
She should be
argument.
able
I have
to
a great
be
argument
like
for
a
that.
woman.
I don't think that the name of the song should be I'll Make a Man Out of You, because that implies that there's something so great about being a man. She did what she needed to do as a woman, and that.
Amen to that. Last question. Why is your movie's comedic relief better?
My comedic relief. I think it blends very well with the serious message that you should do what you love. But you'll have like a really serious moment going on in my movie, like when her grandmother dies, and they'll counteract it with something so hilarious, and they can go back and forth seamlessly. and it's just a roller coaster of wonderful emotions.
Okay, that's great. I mean, it'd be better if your, voice actor could beat John Cena at WrestleMania more than once, but he lost when the title was on the line. But the comedic relief in my movie, very simply, is Eddie Murphy.
Very true.
All right.
Okay, so I think Alex had a really great argument for Mulan, brought up really great points, but the fact that Moana actually had Polynesian actors is the reason why I'm going to pick this as the best Disney movie, because
Wrong.
I think culture needs to be represented. Moana, you are the winner.
Thank you.
It's a huge disappointment. I can't believe this. Fraud. I want to recount.
That was the first ever Anarchy segment. It went. We'll be right back.
Are you an EMU student interested in getting a first-hand experience working at a radio station? Well, say no more. EMU offers a class through Eagle Radio that will thoroughly prepare you for a real-life experience. But first, you have to register for the class. Pick a date and a time slot. Then the world is yours. Eagle Radio allows you to be fully independent and customize your own show. Have real conversations about the news, celebrity gossip, update listeners about the weather, play a trivia game. It's your show. You're free to name your show whatever you want and play any edited music of your choice. If you love having heated debates and you feel your words need to be heard, then Eagle Radio is just for you.
Hi, my name is Shanna Gilkison, and ETV has been a very important part of my life, especially for the last 4 years.
I got my start at ETV in my third semester at Eastern from fellow students, and it's been a great experience.
Working with all these new people that I didn't know before, it's very awesome just seeing how willing people are to get together and create something from scratch.
Hi, I'm Shanna Gilkison for Eastern Weekly, and this is E-Walking.
I will also be hosting and producing a sort of like a late night style talk show.
Everyone that's here wants to be here. They care to be here. They want to work. They want to learn. And with that kind of environment, everybody benefits.
I tell you, I've been doing really well, very successful here at Eastern, but it wasn't until I really became part of the ETV club that I really felt like I was getting more of what I needed as a student.
We decided that we wanted to do things above and beyond our coursework, so I was part of founding the ETV Student Org.
It just so happened that Shanna was in one of my classes, and she told me to come, and I showed up, and it was very warm welcome. Like, everybody was very nice to me right away. And they actually had an idea to make a sitcom, or actually they called it a soap opera at that time. And they said they had, they weren't sure exactly what they wanted, but they wanted one thing. They knew that they wanted this guy, his name is Ramon, to be their main character. I mean, that was kind of how the show Week at a Glance kind of took off.
Beyond Eastern's walls, when I'm done here, I'll probably be working with some people from ETV, again, professionally. And I think a lot of students don't take advantage of what they should with organizations on campus, and ETV is one of the best.
Also it for the rest of the semester. I miss it already. Thank you for watching, and if at any time you want to watch an episode of Who's Who at EMU, you can check us out on YouTube. We hope everyone has a great winter break, and that we'll see you next season. I'm Shannon Smith, and this was Who's Who.